Welcome back to the System Read. I am sitting here with the one and only Sarah, and today we are finally cracking open the universal API of human interaction. I'm talking about Robert Cialdini's influence. Sarah, if you're building a business, a community, or even just a lifestyle, this isn't just a book, it's the source code for the human operating system. It's the click-whir reality we all live in.
Operating system, Marcus? Honestly, you make us sound like discount hardware. I look at Cialdini's work, and I don't see an API. I see a thug's manual for the digital age. It's a catalog of every dirty trick used to bypass human reason and exploit our most primitive vulnerabilities. It's not about influence. It's about subverting autonomy.
Autonomy is a nice story we tell ourselves, Sarah, but the biology says otherwise. Cialdini shows us these fixed action patterns, intricate sequences of behavior that roll out mechanically. It's like a tape player. You hit the trigger, the tape rolls. Click, whir. The mother turkey doesn't care if it's a stuffed polecat. If it goes, cheep, cheep, she mothers it. We're the same. We see a high price tag and our brain screams, expensive equals good, and we buy. Why fight the system when you can master it?
Oh, please. Comparing us to mother turkeys is exactly where this becomes dangerous. You're essentially saying that because we use shortcuts to handle brain strain in a complex world, it's morally acceptable to booby-trap those shortcuts. Cialdini literally calls these weapons of influence. Weapons, Marcus. When you use a trigger feature to get someone to say yes without thinking, you aren't persuading them. You're mugging their intellect.
It's not a mugging, it's efficiency. Civilization advances by extending the number of operations we can perform without thinking. Take the reciprocation rule. It's the very core of being human. Our ancestors learned to share because of an honored network of obligation. If I give you a free sample or a flower like the Hare Krishnas do in airports, I'm engaging a rule that allowed for the division of labor and trade. It's the old give and take, and take.
Ah, yes, the honored network of being forced to buy a magazine subscription you don't want because some guy did an uninvited favor. It's a benefactor before beggar strategy that creates an uninvited debt. You know what I see when I look at the Reagan study? A guy buying twice as many raffle tickets as he needs just to get rid of the psychological burden of a 10-cent Coke he didn't even ask for. It's an unfair exchange, masquerading as manners.
But that's the beauty of the system. It works even if you dislike the person. It's a social lubricant. Look at the rejection then retreat technique. If I want $5, I ask for 10. When you say no, I concede and ask for the 5. You feel like I did you a favor by backing down, so you comply to reciprocate the concession. Even the Watergate burglars fell for this because Liddy started with $1 million plan involving kidnapping and call girls before retreating to a mere $250,000 break-in. It's tactical genius.
It's manipulative filth. You're describing a way to make people feel responsible for a deal they were cornered into. It's the same with commitment and consistency. This is the part that truly sickens me. The foot-in-the-door tactic. You get someone to agree to a tiny, trifling request, like signing a petition for state beautification, and 2 weeks later, they're letting you put a massive, ugly billboard on their lawn because they've altered their own self-image to be a public-spirited citizen.
Exactly. Small yeses lead to massive behavioral shifts. The Chinese POW camps in Korea mastered this without physical brutality. They just got the soldiers to write down mildly anti-American statements. Once it's in your own handwriting, it's physical evidence. You can't deny you did it, so you change your beliefs to match the deed. That's not dirty, Sarah, it's magical. Writing things down creates an inner choice that grows its own legs.
You are talking about brainwashing as if it's a productivity hack, Marcus. It's terrifying. You're describing the lowball tactic used by car dealers, offering a fake great price to get the commitment, then discovering an error after the customer has already built new struts to justify the purchase. They're trapped by their own words. It's a hobgoblin of the mind that forces people to be foolishly consistent with a mistake.
But look at the results. When they used lowballing to get people to conserve energy in Iowa, the savings increased even after the original incentive, newspaper publicity, was taken away. The people didn't return to their old habits. They became fully concerned, energy-conscious citizens. The system improved their lives even if the trigger was an artifice.
The ends do not justify the subversion of the will. Let's talk about social proof. This is the canned laughter effect. We laugh longer and more often at artless situation comedy just because we hear a mechanical, phony laugh track. It's the monkey me, monkey do reality. We look to others to decide what's correct, which leads to pluralistic ignorance. Like the 38 witnesses who watched Catherine Genovese get murdered and did nothing because no one else was reacting. Is that your efficient shortcut, Marcus?
The Genovese case is a tragedy of uncertainty, Sarah, not malice. In a crowd, responsibility is reduced. But the principle of social proof is also how you save yourself. Cialdini gives the universal API for an emergency. Isolate one person, point at them and say, "You, sir, in the blue jacket, I need help. Call an ambulance." You remove the uncertainty. You use the system to force a rescue. It's also why we follow people who are similar to us. It's a shortcut to survival.
A shortcut to survival? Like the Werther effect, where a highly publicized suicide causes a 1,000% increase in commercial airline crashes because troubled people decide that suicide is now appropriate and copy it by crashing their cars or planes? Or Jonestown, where 910 people died in orderly, willful fashion because they were in an alien environment and followed the social evidence of their neighbors drinking poison. That is the herd mentality taken to its graveyard conclusion.
Those are outliers. Most of the time, social proof is the automatic pilot that keeps us on course. We just have to disengage the mechanism when the data is purposely falsified by exploiters. Let's move to authority and liking. You can't deny that we prefer to say yes to people we like, whether it's because of physical attractiveness, the halo effect where we assume good-looking equals good, or just simple compliments. Joe Girard became the world's greatest car salesman just by sending 13,000 cards a month that said, "I like you."
Oh, Joe Girard, the friendly thief. It's bewitchingly effective because we're phenomenal suckers for flattery, even when it's clearly false. But authority is what truly haunts me. The Milgram experiment. Ordinary people, just like you and me, delivering intense and dangerous levels of shock to an innocent person because a guy in a gray lab coat told them it was his job. 2/3 of the subjects went all the way to 450 volts. They were twitching, stuttering wrecks, but they obeyed to the end.
Because directed deference to an expert is a valuable shortcut for a functioning society. Without authority, we have anarchy. Life becomes solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Yes, it can lead to grave and dangerous blunders, like nurses obeying a bare title and putting eardrops in a patient's rectal area. But the system works the majority of the time. We just need to ask 2 questions. Is this authority truly an expert? And how truthful can we expect them to be?
And do you think a person whirring along in a click-whir state is going to stop and ask, how truthful is this expert? No. They're blinded by the symbols, the titles, the clothes, the trappings. Like the bank examiner scheme, where a guy in a conservative three-piece business suit gets a widow to withdraw her life savings. It's mesmerized compliance. It's the same with scarcity.
Scarcity is the rule of the few. Opportunities seem more valuable to us when they're limited. If I tell you this is one of only 2 unsold corner lots or exclusive limited engagement ends soon, your brain shifts from logic to physical agitation. We hate to lose freedoms we already have. That's psychological reactance. It starts at age 2, the terrible twos, and hits its peak with the Romeo and Juliet effect.
Physical agitation is exactly right. It's a feeding frenzy. I've seen this in modern e-commerce. Limit 4 per customer. Only 2 left at this price. It's fake urgency, designed to keep prospects from taking the time to think. We become like the buffalo Indian tribes used to hunt, responding to thundering social proof and running blindly over a cliff. It doesn't make the product taste 1 whit better, but we'll kill for it in a competitive auction.
But Sarah, understanding this is how you win. Look at my brother Richard. He sold cars by scheduling every potential buyer for the exact same time. When the second and third buyers drove up, the availability of the car became limited by the presence of the other. It created a now or never limited time only rush to decision. He wasn't a thug. He was an architect of a stacked-up competition system that worked every time.
Your brother manipulated people into panicky, feverish reactions so they wouldn't notice the car was a clunker. That brings us to the 7th principle, unity, the dangerous power of us versus them. Cialdini warns us that when we feel at one with a group, we're most vulnerable. We stop being individuals and start being members of the herd. In an automatic age where information is avalanching on us, we're reverting to primitive responding.
And that's the point, Sarah. We have to revert. The pace of modern life is too fast for a fully considered analysis of every situation. We need shortcuts. We need sound rules of thumb. Cialdini isn't telling us to stop using the shortcuts. He's telling us to forcefully counter-assault the exploiters who falsify the evidence. If a bartender salts his tip jar or an advertiser uses phony, unrehearsed interviews, we should boycott, threat, confrontation, censure, tirade.
You want to have your cake and eat it too, Marcus. You want to use the API to hack people, but you want to declare war when someone else hacks you. The truth is that Cialdini's weapons are primitive consent tools. They rely on us being mental slackers who are impervious to the sieges of reason. I refuse to accept that as the universal API for a civilized existence.
Well, Sarah, as Frank Zappa said to the talk show host who attacked his hair, I guess your wooden leg makes you a table. You can guess that human nature is rational all you want, but while you're cataloging, appraising, and calibrating, the world is passing you by. Cialdini has given us the tapes. Click.
Whir. And there goes the individual. This has been the System Read. Good luck out there. And for heaven's sake, watch out for guys in lab coats offering you a Coke.
See you next time.